Hello everybody, welcome back to a new episode of Railway Empire 2, and I'm letting the game start already because I need to get my finances up so I can actually start building the last part of my encirclement of Lady Ward's empire. And to do that we will go from Mendes station to Guzman Quarry, which also means that I will buy that one most likely at some point, and from there over Mendoza Ranch to Porto. And as I said in the last episodes, I haven't made up my mind completely about what to do next, and that's basically don't need that because I'm not going to New York for a while. The reason for that is the easiest track and actually the most looking environment is from Porto past Andres Farm to Coruña, but the one with the best access to resource is actually through here, Ibanez and Ortiz, then Morales, then Peña to Andres, and eventually Fresquet also being added. Even no, that's two. So I'm not certain what to do yet. I may actually do both. And the reason for that is this is the shortest route for the passenger, well, for my express lines, while for supplying this may be better. Which brings up the next question, which is my cargo station. And my cargo station is, of course, the one on the outside, which would be running over here. Making things even more complicated. So let's start building the train station. I also need to keep in mind that I have a very small limit here. I'm not planning to do a tunnel. What I should do is actually start with cargo tracks. Also, this will be the outside track. I'm gonna do it like this. in mind my limit is always 10 million. Because I want to keep enough money available just in case Lady Ward does decide it's a good idea to buy something. It's something I don't want to happen. So one side, don't need to worry about that part. And a trick I use for the distance, which is always nice to know, I'm checking, keeping an eye on the signposts. So with those, I am more or less able to set up a very nice curve, as you can see. Actually build stuff. But what's more important to me, with those curves I'm actually able to keep the right speed for mid-range. Sorry, I got something in my throat. Yeah. Now let's see. I hope nobody gets seasick from all this zooming I'm doing. If you do, sorry for that, but what does this look like without the height lines? pretty decent. Pretty decent, not decent enough. Yeah, I think this is not going to be it. The reason we need to move that one more. I'm afraid that's going to be a problem. Let's see. Let's keep the height lines on. Because that way I'm very easily able to spot a tunnel which we didn't have. Good. Like I said, signpost, so that one. Because it gives us a maximum speed for some time, and over time we will get faster trains. And as I explained in one of my earlier episodes, we need to deal with that. As you can see, 94 is the maximum on those tracks. That's probably the reason why. I'm also thinking that if I have to electrify this entire network, that's going to cost me so much money. Can't build them yet. Oh, I can't build them. Already in 1846. That's weird. Maybe I'll do a test piece near Amsterdam. See, this is what I meant about speed. First signpost 32, second maximum speed. I also need to build something else. Same problem with the curves here. I did build, yep, water supply, but I didn't build, at Guzman anyway, maintenance post. And then at Mendoza I also need a maintenance post. That one. Now, let's see, overhead lines, Amsterdam. Let's check technology, because engine shed doesn't work this way. Let's see what my first electrical locomotive is going to be. It's suspension for, it will be deep in the 80. There we are, a cargo. Okay, a cargo train. So in that case, my overhead lines will be placed here. And it does include the station, which is nice. And this is what it looks like. You barely see the lines. You do see the poles. And if I actually want to have a look, being served, let go, Amsterdam cargo with sugar. No. That doesn't ring a bell, because I have no idea where it's heading to next. I'm curious what it looks like. So let's hope it's heading to Prince. And there's the leg. Because if it is heading to Prince Station, yeah, it is, okay. So this is what it looks like when having tracks with overhead lines. including the grid irons. In all fairness, I think the distance between the posts is too long. It's more than a train length, which, yeah, I think it's too long. I understand that for visuals, or better said, for the train the processing, CPU, GPU processing parts, having as few as possible would be better, but view-wise, when looking at them, I think they're too far from each other. But then again, from Northern Holland, and to be precise, somewhere around close to the village of Middenmeer, seeing the big mountains near Cologne. Okay, so visuals are, that's a map thingy. Personally, yeah, I think they're too far away. There's too much room between the two. This also means that the first part where I'm actually going to use the overhead lines are my cargo trains. Or at least some of them cargo lines. Happens when I stop now. So this is one pole. Here's one pole. This is the train length. This is a train length. So the overhead lines are, I have to turn the map for this. Let's use that one, that pole, because that's closer. So one train length, two train length, about 2 3/4 of a train length long. Yeah, I think that's too much. Considering that when I travel by train, usually the length between the two poles is more like 2.5 distance between the overhead line poles for one train. Anyway. Anyway, my passenger station is on the left side, which means the inside, which means this side. That's the passenger station. Well, that kind of makes my choice pretty easy. Passenger station. Also, I'm not going to do the spaghetti thingy by creating crossovers and anything else. Yep. Outlines. In a way, it's also a bit of a pity, so maybe I should do that after all. Because of the view and the express that's on top of that, I can always. I'm going to do that anyway. It may look ugly. But it's for a good cause. So 80 unlock, so that means, considering it's 40 game years, at this speed, at this gaming speed I'm doing, it means I'm getting there in 2027 or something. We'll see. We will see about it. But once I've got the lady locked up and anything, I can work towards the goal of buying up a company anyway. So that will make gameplay a lot easier. And faster. Restaurants. Post office. And I have to figure out what it is in Portuguese, so let me load up my translation site on the laptop. Because yes, I want things. Lisboa, Porto. Porto. Okay. Esta. There we go. Also, something I just realized being very ironic, that just a few minutes before I was starting up my game, I was listening to Guns N' Roses song called Night Train. Not sure if that's a coincidence or not, because I'm using playlists on, what's his name, Spotify, which are actually random generated. But it's funny. I don't see. No, I'm not going to look for meanings behind things like that. So, Porto cargo. Still at 11. Next will be this one. I think I'm going to transfer the passenger. How's Burgos? Burgos has it over here. And I need to connect. I'm going to transfer my passenger tracks to the north side. So, central station. Let's start by connecting it. And let's bring up the height lines again. I'm also going to turn my screen this time. The thing is, it's going down very fast, quite steep over here, and I need to avoid, I want to avoid to build that many tunnels, bridges and other stuff. I think I can't avoid bridges, but tunnels should be possible. Okay, next part. This is going to be a very interesting trip by train. But I am able to maintain maximum speed everywhere. So that's good. It's also a small sound bug, I think. Or it feels like one to me anyway. remove height lines. Build that. This is more or less halfway. We also got 10 million again, so time to release the game in a bit. Where are the signposts? 1, 2. So, one track. The other one will be more tricky, but going through there. Let's see. Let's make some money. Routes will go from... Yep, game is lagging again. Route will go from Valdez. That's where I have my hotel. Valdez, Porto, Coruña, Oviedo, Bilbao, then back to Valdez. So I will skip that route, Burgos, Leon, and Salamanca. Otherwise, that whole hotel is of no use. What about the bridge, folks? That was a bridge where I didn't want it. Oh well, never mind. Because it won't bother me. Right, next. Clay, and from the clay we're going past him. On the other hand, since it's cargo anyway, well, I still need to go past the clay. My only advantage is it's only 2 tracks this time. And it's for cargo. So, since it is for cargo, building is a lot easier. And that's because cargo trains have better acceleration. And here we go again. This also means that at some point I have to build a warehouse somewhere to process the pottery I'm able to make in this region. Come on, move. There we go. Senor Ortiz. This is more than those I did add. Yep, I did. Morales. Now what I was thinking previously, I said that the easiest way is doing this, but since it's only cargo going this way, I might as well include that one for the cargo line. will make some things complicated. This is the lowest spot. It certainly will make an interesting way for my cargo train. 1 to number 3. Big tunnel. Well, it's going to be an interesting trip on that cargo line, that's for sure. If I'm going to do that. Because it's very likely that for a long time that train will haul nothing. Right. That was the most complicated part actually. Because the last part will be connecting to that station near La Coruña. And once that's done, should I add another water tower here? I think that's a better idea. Once that connection is made, things will be quite easy. Although, on the look of things, I won't be there yet. That part will be fine. This is the part I'm not happy with. But it can be solved. There's only one thing I am a little bit worried about. And that's the fact that to get some goods in Porto, my train has to take a very long ride. I will look at that later. Right now, that part's done. I mean, it's coming from here all this way to get the corn. There is Valdez, and that's pretty far away. So for the corn and the grain, it has to do a very long trip. And with that in mind, I'm wondering if it should be a good idea to actually do one here. No, I'm not. Yeah, maintenance. Kit, maintenance. Morales already has maintenance, and so does Ortiz. Okay, so I am able to supply Porto with meat, sugar, corn, wood. It's always a trick. Yep. And the next station is connected. It's going fast now. I'm also once again past below 10 million. So remove height lines. Now I have to check in the station names. Station. And yes, I'm trying to use the Spanish name of the city. Not sure if it's actually correct what I wrote. We'll check that later. I think it is. And if it isn't, I will change that later. Now 2 small tunnels for my cargo track. Well, I can live with that. Let's see if I wrote it right. I think I did. Yep, I did. I'm going to do the last piece before something else, as that would give me access to all the goods required for my cities. And of course we get this. Yep, I was afraid of that. Merchant, track, cargo track. I also need to build another supply post in a bit. Did I? Yes, I did. Okay, somehow things really messed up now. Why aren't you going away? Oh, because you're still running. So you have to go up, up. You're not listening. Up, down. It is because of this. Solved. Next. Okay, 8,330 stations. Ooh. Hey, what's this? Don't crash on me. It wasn't, fortunately. But it certainly takes time to get going. And Porto supply. Locomotive. Right. Caboose. Four trains needed. Freight. Those are two. Cargo. Two. For these. Cargo. Jimenez. Jimenez. Well, either one of those. Cargo. For these. Cargo. And I'm doing this for a purpose. Andres. Cargo. To Jimmy. To him. To cargo. Probably too many stops. We'll see. No fruit. Not going to pick up any of the refrigerated goods. So supply 1. Confirm. We're going to ride along for a little bit. Not too long, but just for a little bit to enjoy the view. the mountains and the Atlantic Ocean and a little bit of Porto, and that's it. Yes. I hear some noise behind me. Somewhere. There's somebody wanting some attention. 4.30 mouse hunting thingy. Yeah, off we go. Not going to have a look at the train because we've done that so many times. It's purely the landscape, the deer, the bear, pine trees or fir trees, shrub, coastline, things like that. There's another bear. Then there's of course the birds. Birds and the trees. I don't see the flowers and I don't see any bees. Just buck and doe. The train doesn't even get its maximum speed by the time it reaches Porto. That's not a bear, that's a boar. Just one letter of difference, but when you encounter one, at least with a boar you can climb in a tree. With a bear you certainly can't. If you're able to outrun them anyway. I'm not going to give that a try. So first stop that. This is going to be a steep climb. No, actually it's not. Well, because that railroad was already sunk. Yeah, that makes it easier. though having everything this high up, yeah, I think having it drop down was better, would have been better looking. This is the cheapest option actually. Of things I should have built the station a little bit further ahead. Yeah, those things are very tricky to figure out unless completely zoom in. Then I should have built the station up here. I still would have that problem. And we're already at 13 million. This is going well. Thing is that it's very likely this train is going to do a full load on the first train doing this route. After that it will probably not bring as much because the city is growing and the demand. The city isn't growing because there's no passenger transport, so the demand remains the same. As soon as I add passenger transport, things will change. You don't see the growing symbol. 16.1. So usually it's 2000 for cargo, times 7 is 14. So we got 2.1 extra, which must come from the caboose. All the extra benefits we have from that. Which basically means that with a car less, I'm doing 100 money pieces, credits, units, gold, whatever you want to call it, extra, which is not bad compared to 8 cars, that is. Because with 8 cars I would be doing 16,000 and now 16.1. Oh yeah. It's 300 each car extra, which is more than 10%. I think close to 16% extra. 15 and a bit. That's the area in Spain for trains heading to Salamanca and big curve it took. In a way it's funny that I usually took this part, go to Porto, but I prefer what I did now. Also something I just realized about the electrification. It's very nice to see it when you build the tracks and then you actually see that power symbol above the tracks. So in regards of that, it's very well done by the devs, because in Transport Viva, when you do the electrification, you get actually a color change of the track, which when you do that with the route open makes it very hard to see actually. In this game you can't do that. You can't have the route open while you also do building, so but the symbol in itself makes it better. Time for all the... We have been going up slowly there. This whole part. Time to start heading for the tunnel. Just give me a moment. I have an idea. Because I want to know about something. This is what I mean. I'll check something this time. Does it have the overhead? Yes, it does. I'm curious what it looks like in a tunnel. That is why I built them. We already know the trains are putting the lights on when it enters the tunnel, but how do the overhead lights look? Are they using poles? Are they being attached to the ceiling? We have no idea, so let's have a look. Actually, it looks like we have poles instead of them being attached to the ceiling. So the pole is simply the default option. Ceiling is not an option in this game. That's a shame. Probably design choice. Also weird that you get long stretches without poles, and because they're very close to each other. I like them being closer to one another, so this looks more natural to me as the long straight lines where we don't have anything. Of course, there's the clavicle bridge. Bang, going straight through it. That's a shame. But overall, I'm not that disappointed by the overhead lights. And with the passenger train we will be riding at the other side of that mountain over there. Next, this was the coal, I think. Or was this the... Yeah, that's coal. The next one will be the cattle, the milk. And this is the spot which I did lower my tracks more fit in the landscape. Not always, but it does look a little bit better. Except for that bump. And this bit. simply not possible to keep following the heightlines in this part of the map. So this is the milk station somewhere. Which means we're going to merge with the passenger tracks coming in from our left. And the next station you'll see is the one with the corner. There's the Atlantic in front of us. So at some point, when everything is going, we will see steam or smoke coming here. I think there's the tracks. This isn't looking that bad actually. It looks worse from the point of view when actually laying down the tracks, as it does when you're riding along in the train. This looks very smooth. I got a shitload of hours in this game and I finally managed to get nice smooth flowing tracks. Well, better late than never, I guess. Let's turn the camera up a bit. Hey, don't say that. Well, I might as well do. This is not too bad. So that's a corn farm. Next one we will be passing through will be the cargo station of La Coruña. I think by the time the train gets there it actually needs maintenance. Now it does have some problems going up, but I was expecting that. Yep, and I was expecting this to test the steep. Hey, what's this? Breakdown? What the heck? Already? Well, below 90% they would occur, so that does make sense. But just hope it won't happen too often, because it will certainly mess up lots and lots of cargo train routes. So it certainly will do maintenance. Well, that's a good point for us to close up. Oh, I forgot something. Wow. Silly. Well, that part looks nice too. Whoa! I lost 20 million. On what? Because the revenue was 2 million. Maintenance post. Overhead lines 2.7. Fuel miscellaneous 24. Oh, I bought 24. I probably bought for 20 million or so stocks. That one's going up a little bit. What? 2.2. Yeah, I bought her stock. 9.54. I'm 4 times, almost 4 times worth more as she is. As her company is. And I still have those. That's going well. There's no need to worry about anything anymore. So, end of the line. In a certain way, anyway. I said I had forgotten about something. Let's change that. There. So. This one's being loaded up now. That one is okay. So there is one more thing I need to check. 95 beer. I'm not going to complete that task for sure. So what I'm going to do next week is build the rest of the line from Jimenez to Duran, Oviedo, Luis, Castillo and Vega to Bilbao, and in Bilbao I will combine stuff, eventually leading to Bayonne and Bordeaux, and then we got everything covered. Bayonne will be important because of the clothing industry, and for that I will probably have to build a warehouse at some point. Not sure where yet, to feed entire Spain and Portugal with cloth. From Barcelona I can go over Bilbao to Bayonne. From Burgos and Salamanca, Leon, I can do the same thing. Porto is something I have to look for. That's why I said I need a warehouse. I will also start at that point setting up the route from Valdez to Porto, La Coruña, Oviedo, Bilbao, and Bayonne, maybe even Bordeaux. I have those. And then going back to Valdez, but also the other way. So Valdez, Bilbao, Bayonne, Bordeaux, and then Oviedo, La Coruña, Porto. Then we got that circle done. Now, like I said, there's one more thing I'd like to do. Don't do that, okay. Currently we own 50%. This is going well, 320, given that we got 4 years to go. 4 times 360 is over 1000. So my guess is I'm able to unlock this entire part up here. Observation car, closed containers will be useful for sure. The tool makers and steel plants are things that will make things more complicated, but we'll see by then. It's 1846, I'm not going to worry about 1850 yet. For now, thank you for watching, and I do hope you've been enjoying it. I did. Next week we're going to finish the enclosure with some luck. I hope so. Have a good week everybody, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.